Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we continue our series, making a case for each and every Primarch being the greatest, with Jaghatai Khan, Primarch of the White Scars. A general spoiler warning to begin, as today we will be referencing events from across the Warhammer 40k universe. So you have been warned, and with that said, let's waste no time and just jump straight in. Like Jaghatai himself, this one is going to be swift and to the point. There's no need for messing around here. You might think arguing for Jaghatai as the greatest Primarch would be a hard job, but I couldn't disagree more. There's actually a very clear and definitive reason in Jaghatai's favour. The Horus heresy divided the galaxy. The Imperium, the Primarchs. For some Primarchs it was instinctive. No choice to make. They would stand by their father. For some, a question of duty. For others, the seeds of bitterness had already been sown, and they were easy to turn to the War Master's side. Immaturity, petulance, deceit, take your pick. Yet for it all, for all the dividing up of the Primarchs and sides being drawn, there was only one Primarch who actually put thought into his decision. One Primarch who weighed up the case for each side, who made his choice based on facts, not emotion. Jaghatai Khan. I hear some of you here, what about Alfarius? Well, call me loyal to the Inquisition, but I don't see a lot of real facts in his Xeno long game. A hopeful victory after giving Chaos a win. That's about as manipulated as you can get. But I digress. Jaghatai and his legion were caught completely off guard by the outbreak of the heresy. When messages of the erupting conflict came in, the White Scars were immersed in confusion, struggling to ascertain what exactly had transpired. Why, for example, the Space Wolves had assaulted Prospero. Why Horus had declared against the Emperor. He was faced with an immediate decision, with Leman Russ appealing to Jaghatai for aid after being ambushed by the Alpha Legion. He could declare for Horus and avenge his close brother Magnus, or he could assist Russ and fend off Alfarius. Yet Jaghatai would not act rashly. He alone went in search of answers, in search of the truth, before making his decision. And so he went to the ruins of Prospero to see the devastation inflicted by Russ himself. And Jaghatai didn't find what he was hoping for here, for Prospero was indeed a ruin. But again, he wasn't being guided by his heart. He was using his head. His heart may have been crushed, but his head found the answers he needed. And as we know, Jaghatai would converse with Magnus here, or at least a shard of Magnus, and then with his brother Mortarion, before dueling him, after declining his offer to join the traitor side. And it's almost irrelevant really on what side Jaghatai chose. It's more the fact that he went out of his way to ascertain the facts, the truth, before he would commit one way or the other. And he resisted a huge amount of manipulation and temptation, shall we say, to do so. First of all, the Alpha Legion were playing a huge role in blockading the White Scars within the Chondak system, which they had to break through to reach Prospero. And secondly, how easy it would have been for Jaghatai to simply join the assault against Russ and the Wolves, learning of the burning of Prospero, the destruction they had committed against Magnus. one of, if not the closest of Jaghatai's brothers. And do you think that was a coincidence? That the Alpha Legion were assaulting the wolves in the wake of Prospero, and ensuring Jaghatai was nearby when he heard the news? That the wolves would be at his mercy and within striking distance? Of course not. It was entirely orchestrated to force Jaghatai's hand, to have him make that rash, impulsive decision to avenge Magnus. But he didn't. And honestly, when you look at how easily so many other Primarchs were manipulated into betrayal, joining Horus's side, you have to say Jaghatai deserves immense credit for not taking the bait, for seeking the facts himself. He didn't side with the Emperor because of love or loyalty. His relationship with him was famously not that great. He sided with the Emperor because he saw for himself it was the right decision to make. Not for Jaghatai personally, for the difference between good and evil, right and wrong. And you want to talk about talent? You want to talk about combat prowess? Well, Jaghatai fought Mortarion to a stalemate upon Prospero, one of, if not the, most durable Primarchs. And it was Mortarion who retreated, not Jaghatai. He ripped the heart out of a greater demon with his bare hands, declaring for the Emperor as he did. One of the most adrenaline-pumping moments going. He had the balls to teleport over to Russ's flagship, completely unarmed, after leaving Russ and his legion to a possible death. He refused to remain behind the walls of the Imperial Palace, leading one sortie after another beyond the walls. It was he and his legion that recaptured the Lion Gate spaceport, the biggest gamble of the Siege of Terror. And he defeated his then demon-elevated brother Mortarion, finally slashing his throat. A demon Primarch who would beat Guilliman in a couple of seconds 10,000 years later. And that was with Guilliman wielding the Emperor's sword. You cannot overstate how huge a victory this was, especially against a demon-elevated Mortarion. I know I'm biased, but Jaghatai quite simply is the man. No question about it. He's an absolute wrecking ball that no brother would willingly come up against. And so it's even more great that his biggest achievement, or the biggest factor in his column here for me, is that what truly makes him the greatest Primarch is all from his mind, completely apart from his warrior prowess. Simply a man who refused to be manipulated, who sought the facts and the truth for himself. That might not sound like much, but in the case of the Primarchs and the Horus heresy, its importance cannot be stated enough. But as always everyone, what do you think? Like me, do you see Jaghatai's decision in the heresy as undoubtedly his greatest moment? His simple refusal to be manipulated to join either side. That he sought out the evidence for himself and decided based on that merit alone? Or do you think his warrior prowess plays more of a factor? That his skills with a blade ranks him amongst the greatest fighters, and that it's his tactical acumen that gives him the edge? Or is Jaghatai not the greatest? And if so, why? Or maybe, does Jaghatai deserve the title for one incident alone? The beyond legendary burn of his brother Fulgrim? As always everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.